The reason you're stuck is because you're thinking about the task, not the payoff. When you think about doing something, your brain releases the dopamine as if it has already done the task. That's why you're in this constant loop of wanting to do it, but then another day passes and then you keep saying, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week, hopefully. So we're gonna talk about how we can fix that. So let's get right into the video. So I saw this pop up on my TikTok algorithm and two creatives actually talked about it. I saw another creative's breakdown of it, and then I saw the original creative who people were referencing. As we're 30 days into our winter arc, if you're not familiar, we've been doing a 90-day series to end out 2025 in our winter arc, which means we are changing the way we move, we're changing the way we eat, we're changing the way we speak about ourselves, we're changing the way we show up for ourselves. All the above. It's when it gets darker, colder, and the motivation dips. But this mindset shift can literally help us propel even faster than maybe what we thought we could in 90 days. So the whole cure to laziness, it's not a character flaw or a personality trait that I feel like a lot of people talk about it as. It's a signal. That is your brain's way of saying something is off. But it's been normalized because it keeps happening that you don't even recognize it's laziness. It's just, I didn't get this thing I needed to get done last week, done again today. The cure isn't more discipline, it's alignment. So the 5 tips that really helped me and continue to help me, especially throughout this winter arc. Number 1 is nutrition. You can't create energy from junk. So all the McDonald's, all the Wendy's, the Chick-fil-A, the Bojangles, the Popeyes, all of those are gonna make you feel sluggish. They are going to have you like up in energy for like 30 minutes at best. Then all that MSG, all that nasty gunk that's in that food, the fast food, is not gonna help you be sustainable throughout the day. What you eat literally becomes your momentum. That is why over the past year, I've really dove into looking at what I'm feeding myself, literally. I've gotten back into juicing and it's as simple, honestly, like you don't need this big fancy juicer. I happened to just invest in one a couple years ago because that's actually one of my hobbies. But for you, that can look like finding a $15 to $20 hand juicer, or I know there's a viral one going out on TikTok right now. Maybe you invest into a $50 to $60 one. Juice your fruits and vegetables that way. If it's hard for you to get the nutrients, drink it. But you literally will not get done or become the version of yourself you want to be if you keep feeding yourself the crap on the way home, back from work, in between school hours. It's just not going to work out, even if you're working out. Some things that have helped me is learning what foods bloat me and what foods don't. So if you're not familiar, you can be eating all the right stuff, great fruits and vegetables, doing your whole thing. Some fruits that can cause bloating are apples, pears, watermelons, and these are still really good things for you. Sometimes when you're trying to get into the flow of things, you just think whatever is deemed healthy is healthy, but you have to know your body type. You have to know your blood type. Your blood type will tell you what you really need. So like for me, red meat is great for me. For other people in my life, red meat is probably the worst thing that they can have in their diet. Apples, naturally from the natural sugars, not the processed refined sugars that we find in donuts and cupcakes. The natural sugars, which are good for you, in moderation of course, they're high in fructose and fiber, so it ferments in the gut. So it can feel like, I feel good, I feel really energized, but sometimes you might see some inflammation, you might feel some bloating in your stomach, but it's not a bad bloat. You just have to think everything in a portion size. Some vegetables that can cause bloating, typically cruciferous vegetables, which are like your broccolis, your cauliflower, then you have your Brussels sprouts, asparagus. Some of those vegetables include raffinose, which is a gas-forming sugar. So naturally, when you have gas, you just poot it out. TMI, I know. Oh. But seriously, your body, it's going through things, it's digesting things, it's getting rid of the bad, keeping the good. And sometimes that's going to cause you to look a certain way. So think about that too when you have different events and things like that coming up. Plan kind of what the meals you would like to eat so that you know, okay, I'm doing the best thing I can, but sometimes my body is just going to work the way it does. And that's okay. A good tip is cooking some of these vegetables can break it down a little bit easier to make it easier to digest. I will counter that and say the more raw you eat the vegetables and fruits, the better you get the nutrients. But sometimes cooking them down, sauteing them for a minute or two won't hurt either. I know I gave you some of the foods that have bloating, so I'm gonna give you a couple that reduce it and then I'll go on to the next point. Bananas are great de-bloaters. So if you have a presentation, but you don't really want to eat a lot, if you're about to head to the gym, 1, even 2 bananas, 1 honestly is enough to get you through your workout, a 90-minute workout. Now I don't recommend doing that, but I've done that enough to speak to it and say how energetic I felt after. It was great. A lot of your berries, so your strawberries, blueberries. Now, I know that there was an FDA recall on blueberries. I don't know if they lifted that. So food for thought as of today. Raspberries, a lot of things that have citrus like lemons, oranges, limes. They're low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and they're just really good for your body to produce good bacteria, to flush out all the bad bacteria. Doesn't mean that you can't have Popeyes or Chick-fil-A every once in a while, but think about the nutrients that you put in your body, especially when you're trying to reach a goal. Number 2, physical activity. Move before you think. There have been so many times where I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on a walk, Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym. Oh, I'm gonna jump rope for 10 minutes. Oh, I'm gonna do a dance class for fun. Something that involved physical activity. And I thought about it so long that I talked myself out of doing it. I know that that is a common theme for a lot of us, myself included. Just because I talk about the Winter Arc Challenge, just because I talk about the Great Lock-In of 2025, like, it doesn't mean that I'm not affected by also wanting to be like, I don't want to get up. It's 7 a.m. I want to stay and scroll. It's a discipline thing. And I'll talk about the discipline towards the end of the video because that's also really important, and it's a whole separate video that I'll make later on in the month. But the discipline is what's going to keep you through. The motivation, you have it. Maybe you started this last month and it's starting to wear off. Maybe you're starting it right now and you just really got it going. Build the discipline. Motion creates emotion. You can't wait to feel ready because there's never going to be a perfect time to start. There's never going to be a perfect time to lose the weight. There's never going to be a perfect time to build the muscle. There's never going to be a perfect time. You literally have to create it. You have to funnel it inside. Like, I made so many excuses for like 90 days before even starting this series on working out. And it's crazy because I had went from working out like every day, 5-6 days a week, 30 to 45-minute workout sessions to nothing. It's so easy. But you have to create the clarity around the output I get by going to the gym far outweighs the reason why I don't want to go right now. And you just really have to think, I'm already at a weight that I don't feel good at. Let's not make it harder for myself. That's what I have to tell myself. I like how I look. Let's not get to a point where I hate how I look, so I have to like really draw myself out of it. There's a moment, like I love who I am. That will never change. I don't think being a certain way or looking a certain way decides that, but it does make you feel a lot better. Like when you look at yourself in the mirror and know I'm doing everything I possibly can to show up for myself, to love my body, to treat it as a temple, that's when you know, cool, I love this. I can only get better. I can only do what I'm doing. But if you're doing nothing, that's when we got to change some stuff. Getting some physical activity, even if it's a 30-minute walk around the neighborhood, even if it's a 30-minute something, a 20-minute jump rope session, a 10-minute just dance, weeb game, I don't know. Physical activity is the goal though. You need your heart pumping. You need that blood flowing so that you know, all right, I feel good. I've got free endorphins. I'm feeling like I can take on the day. That's what's really going to help. Number 3 is community. Be around momentum. Slow progress is still progress, but if you surround yourself with people who are not going anywhere, it's going to show in you. Sometimes it's so unintentional, but it matters who's around you. They say you are the equivalent of the 5 closest people in your circle. So if you look at 3 or 4 of them and they are going nowhere fast means they intentionally wake up at 1-2 p.m., no vision, no goal for their life. They say they're going to do it tomorrow. They never really do it. They're someone you can't really count on. Maybe you're that person. You have to be honest with yourself and think, do I show up? Am I a man or woman of my word? Do I do what I say I'm going to do? If the answer is no to half of those questions, that's fine. Just change it. Like, thank God we have free will that we are able to change the decisions that we make every single day. Sometimes it does feel like just waking up and deciding to change your life. Most times it's showing up and doing the mundane every single day. And you get better at it over time. You really do. But you have to start and you have to like be really honest with yourself of the kind of friend, the kind of family member you are, and then the kind of people that you surround yourself with. Don't just be friends and be in community with people just to get something. This isn't a transactional thing. But you do have to look, are my 5 closest people motivating me in some way? Do I look at their life and think, wow, that's really cool that I'm connected with someone that closely. I see that for myself. I'm in the circle of greatness. Or does someone think that way about you by the way that you show up for your life? Or does a stranger randomly on the internet, does a stranger passing you in the store, does a stranger in the mall see the way you carry yourself, present yourself, speak kindly to people? Sometimes that in itself is enough to see the community that you're impacting, prayerfully positively. So think about that. Energy is contagious. You will rise to the level of your environment, not your intentions. Everyone has great intentions. We pray and we hope, but you will rise to the level of the environment that you continue to place yourself in. Number 4, routine. 3 tasks daily max. Daily max. Don't give yourself this whole to-do list. This is probably the number that I focus on the most. I love a good routine. I love a list. I love a color coordinated calendar. I am her. I am her. But the more I see, the less I do. And I'm sure that may have been you at some point in your life. It may be you right now. Overwhelm kills the drive. If you feel overwhelmed, the motivation, the discipline to do it, sometimes the discipline isn't strong enough because you just feel too overwhelmed about everything you have to get done. So 3 tasks daily. I've talked about this in earlier videos, so go back and watch them if you hadn't gotten a chance to yet. But morning, afternoon, and evening task. If you feel like you have a lot and you can't wait to only do 3 a day, fine, you'll do 9 a day, but at each little pocket of the day. I recommend recommend maybe putting it down to 2. 3 seems a little ambitious, especially when you're first starting out. You want to get a really good grip of it first, but 3 wins daily can do enough to alter your brain chemistry to keep showing up that way. So that may look like you may have 2 deadlines at work, you need to go to the gym, you need to get groceries, you have family coming in town. Great. Those 3 tasks will look like, all right, go to the gym or go on a walk for 20 minutes. Sometimes it can't be that perfect 30-minute mark. Sometimes it can't be a 60-minute workout. You just have to do what you need to do with the time you have. Next task, the deadline that's closest that someone's looking for from me, let's get that done. Let's have an hour of focus work to just knock it out. And then the other deadline I have, let's see how much time I have until I can circle back to this. That's how you effectively get through this list. And say that third task is finding the best time to do groceries. Maybe after work, you have a light day. Plan to go to the closest grocery store that has most of what you need. So make a grocery list in advance, get all those things so that you can only come back for the things that you need to get that are fresh for when your family does come in town, or whatever the task is. Make the routine easy so it's repeatable. And number 5, rest. This is just as important as every other number I have said. Rest isn't laziness. When you're doing it all the time, yes, it is laziness. But for the most part, when you're being productive, when you're getting out there doing a thing, it's recovery. You recharge to go again and have a Sabbath day. In the Bible, it says God created the heavens and earth 6 days and then he rested on the 7th. Your Sabbath may not look like a Sunday. It may not look like a Saturday because of your work, because of your responsibilities right now. Maybe dedicate, if you know Thursday is the least amount that you have going on that day, maybe you have 1 meeting. Let that be your Sabbath. Create intentional time to recharge. Take a bath with Epsom salt in it. Play some Christmas jazz music. It is 'tis the season. I am that girl. November 1st, Christmas starts. So look, I will not judge you if you're playing Kelly Clarkson and Mariah Carey today. All right. Matter of fact, if you are that person, put this emoji so I know that I'm not the only one that does this. Okay. Y'all my girlies for real. I mean, everyone else, y'all are still my girlies, but y'all are my girlies, my festive girlies. Anyways, take time where you can have self-care days. Self-care looks like making sure that your nails don't look crazy. Even if you're a guy, get a clear cut manicure. Take care of your fingernails. Stop biting them off. Hate to say it, you got to keep your maintenance up. Get a haircut, schedule it. My girlies, make sure you're getting your nails done. If you're not into that and you like doing it and that's a form of self-care, make sure you have your favorite little fall colors. Figure that out. Plan some trips. Like, do things that are fun in your rest and recovery days, because it's really going to make all the difference in how you show up, because you're going to feel like, dang, I know I don't have to earn my rest, but it feels so good to know how productive I was this week, so that now that my rest and recovery day is here, I can truly just rest and recover. Maybe you take a phone call or 2. Maybe it's phones off. Maybe it's do not disturb because you work in a tech or a social media role. I don't know, but that's for you to decide in the way that you build and curate your weeks and your days and your months. The next video I'm going to do, I'm actually going to talk about how we can plan out what next year can look like. I'm going to recommend a couple of different things, but if you're really into a planning situation, make sure you subscribe, because that is what we're going to start shifting into, especially as we're in these last 60 days of the year. This is our time to change things around. It's not too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. So I really hope that this helped put things in a little bit better of a perspective for you. I love that we're doing this series. We have 60 days, a little less than 60 days now of 2025. So we can really make some things shake, but you first have to believe it, and then you just have to start taking action. Some days are going to be tough. Some days are going to be better, but for the most part, you're working towards it. That's the cycle of life. So call on God in everything that you do and know that it's going to take time. Okay? All right. If you stayed until this long in the video, leave this emoji so I know that you're a real one. If you haven't already, subscribe, because we're going to be talking about this all year long and even into the next year. So I'll see y'all on the next episode of Party of One Podcast. Peace.